Hello and welcome back to Block Talk, the show where all it took was one Portuguese memester to push me over the 1,000 views mark. I'm your host with the most green phlegm, and I can't think of anything witty to say. My next guest is a longtime member of the modding community. He's worked on EnderIO, Chisel, and now Forge. Please give a warm welcome to the stage, Tterrag. Hey, welcome in. Hey everyone. So this is Tterrag. Or how do you say it? Would it be Tterrag? Tterrag?
Yeah,
How'd you get that name?
It's from my real name.
Wait. Oh yeah, it's Garrett backwards, right?
Oh, you gotta give it away, the secret.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll
No,
bleep it out. I'll do a big old bleep. But that's so dumb. Like, that's so, like, in your face, and also, like, I didn't
Exactly.
realize it. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Secret
Nobody ever
genius.
does. And they're like, wait, what? Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so I kind of introduced you, but I mean, what are you known for? What do you do?
Well, I guess the first thing I was probably known for was working on EnderIO, just kind of as a side, like a helper. And I've kept doing that for a while. But then later on, I took over the Chisel project along with Drokas and my creator. That's probably the biggest thing that I would say I'm responsible for. Obviously, I didn't make Chisel in the first place. It
Yeah.
was someone else, but since 1.7, been maintaining it along with the other two. From then, I've had a few other miscellaneous projects. Although I guess I should say the first thing people would know me from is the tree growing simulator from the original Sky Factory, or was it Sky Factory 2?
Oh, is that
I
what you had to
don't remember
twerk?
exactly. Yeah, well, that name was not from me. That was Bacon gave it that name, and some of the other streamers. I never called it twerking, but yeah.
I didn't know you made that. I knew the mod, so the name precedes you.
It
That's
was
crazy.
kind of like a ridiculous idea that came up on a stream. It's like there needs to be a way to grow the tree because that's the most annoying part of a skyblock
Exactly.
is you sit there for the first 30 minutes waiting for trees to grow. So it's like, what if you could do something instead of waiting? And it was like, well, what if you just danced? And then that was it. I made it in like a night, and it became the most popular thing I'd ever made. I spent like 30 minutes on it.
It kind of sucks how that happens sometimes.
That's how it goes, though. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I have videos on my channel where, like, I spent probably an hour on, and they have, like, 100,000 views. And then some stuff that I've done on, like, you know, it takes months, and it's like, a couple hundred, there you go.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. But,
Yeah, I spent more time on the video for that mod than the actual mod. I edited together that stupid video that's on the mod page.
Hey, sometimes you just
Like
got to
2
keep it
hours.
simple, you know? You really do need to just keep it simple, because it
Yeah,
it
it was a
worked,
good
it
idea.
struck a chord. Yeah. But I think it's really interesting with Chisel, especially, because I think you have a good case of... I mean, Chisel's been around for a long time, right? How long prior to you taking it
Yeah,
over?
I think it came out originally on 1.5.
Yeah,
If
so
I remember right. I don't think it existed before then. It was...
Because you guys were originally, like, Chisel 3, right? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, there's a storied history there.
Oh,
But,
yeah, it's a whole
the
thing.
original was Automatic Maiden. That was 1.5. And then... It feels like he did it forever, but I don't think there was versions before that. So then it was sometime in 1.6 he disappeared.
Yeah.
Pokefan took over, and then Assy took over, and then Cricket took over, and then I took over. So there's been 4 or 5 versions. There was also like a split at 1 or 2 points. So
Yeah.
it's definitely had quite the history.
And what I was going with is that, like, you guys have sort of... you say that you're not, like... I mean, Chisel is, like, your guys' baby at this point, because, like, you guys have made the whole connected textures part of it. Like, there's a whole, like, system because of Chisel that has sort of become, like, a facet of the whole community, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the crazy... I mean, Chisel's always been ubiquitous for me. I always use it because I can't build. So
Yeah.
Chisel at least makes things. It's like, you know, polishing a turd. You can't... I can't build a good structure, but you use pretty looking blocks and it looks fine.
Yeah.
So I always thought, like, I remember thinking before I ever worked on it, I was like, there's no way I could ever work on something like that. It's way too complicated, like the rendering. I'd never be able to understand it. And then I rewrote the rendering like 2 or 3 times. So now I have a good idea how it works.
So are you like a programmer by trade? How did you get into it?
I started modding before I started really learning programming, and that did not go over well. Nothing I made was any good. I started learning programming late high school, like senior year, and then I got a degree in it. Through college was really when I started doing things that were worthwhile, because I was actually learning real programming. Could do it.
Oh wow! So you went through high school and you're graduated now.
Yeah, I'm out of college.
Oh, right on. That's so cool. Do you think this has helped like your career? And I don't know if you like put on your resume or anything, but like, do you think it's
Oh,
helped you?
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh, you do?
for sure. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten nearly as much like real world programming experience. And
Right.
it's crazy to say that like modding is more real than what you learn in school, but it's so much more real. There's actual like, you got to deal with other people's code messing
Yeah.
with yours. That's something you don't have to deal with in school. You don't have other people's APIs and things
And
that you have to work around.
you have to deal with the public giving you like bug reports and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
dealing with stuff. Yeah, I totally agree. It may not be like the most like glamorous thing or the most like high end thing, but it definitely, yeah, it gives a lot of practical experience if that's what you're looking for.
sure. Yeah, and working as a team is something you can really put on a resume if you've worked on a mod with other
Yeah.
people. Not everybody does that. A lot of people just do solo projects. So it's good to be able to say, I worked on something with 3 people and we didn't kill each other. So hire me. Yeah.
So I mean, like you said, you've been on EnderIO, so you've worked with the big team there. You Chisel, you got a team there.
Yeah.
You also, and I don't know if you mentioned that, but you also work on Forge, right?
Yeah, as of the last few months, since like late last year,
Well, congrats.
I was brought on initially as just kind of like, hey, look at issues and make sure, kind of triage stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we got to the 113 port, it was in dire need of people to just kind of do grunt porting of things, and I was like, all right, I'll do that. And so from there on, I kind of got access to be able to do more things. You gain trust slowly with this kind of project. You don't straight away get full access, but eventually, if you prove yourself not to do stupid things, you'll get more privileges.
That's a big
So
deal.
yeah, this
I mean, like
it's
you've graduated up to doing that. Like, I mean, did you
it does
see
feel
yourself
a
ever
little
doing
bit
that?
like it's a little bit stressful because it's like I don't know, a lot of people rely on it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I ever saw myself doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started out, I guess I had a little bit more vain pursuits. I was like, I just want to make something that's really popular. But then, as I did more and more stuff, I just more enjoy people using things that I make. It doesn't have to be necessarily popular. I just enjoy, the idea of someone using what I made and also like building upon it and, even just tinkering with it and seeing how the code works and things like that. I enjoy that part of it the most. And so definitely working on Forge definitely scratches that itch for sure. Because there's always people, like I can just push something random and I'll get like 5 DMs on Discord if it's broken.
That's
You
really
know?
cool. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know if we've had anything similar. I mean, there's other modders out there that work on Forge, but not with. I mean, you still actively work on your own mods, right?
Less and less because
Less
it's taken a lot of time,
yeah.
especially with all the current madness around 113, 114.
Right.
A lot of time is spent rebuilding things.
Do you see yourself later on going back?
I want to kind of just keep doing both. I want to find a happy medium. We'll
Okay.
see.
Right on.
It's also possible that I could get a more time-consuming job at some point and wouldn't have as much time to do either.
Right. Yeah. It's at the end of the day, it's not. It's not
Yeah.
putting food on the table. I'm sure you get paid a little bit, but it's not the most lucrative thing on earth.
No.
So, on top of all of that, because you seem to have like the biggest plate in front of you, you also moderate our subreddit along with me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how involved you are now, but I mean, over the years, there's been like, crazy, we've seen all the drama at this point. Like, how do you see how do you see the community from when you first started? Which I don't remember how long ago it was. Probably 3 years ago, I'm guessing, right?
Oh, longer than that.
Longer?
I wrote my first anything in 1.5.
Okay. So wow. So that's actually way long.
But I mean, I didn't really do anything serious until like 1.6, 1.7.
Okay.
Like Chisel, EnderIO, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So how do you see it's changed from then to now? Transitioning from just a mod developer to developing the groundwork that a lot of modders work with. How do you see that?
I think that it's gotten a lot more mature since then. I remember when I started out, seemed like there was drama every other week. You had the stuff because when I started playing, I was relatively late to the game. I didn't really start playing the game at all until after the full release.
Yeah.
1.1, 1.2. So I was there right at the threshold of all the crazy Tekkit drama and all that stuff that went down. That just seemed like that was what it was to me. I was like, this place is crazy.
Yeah, I think people grew up with the game, right? Like the community sort of grew up along with it. Yeah,
that absolutely happened because you see it now. It's like Minecraft went from being this niche cool indie game to this overplayed, everybody hated it because it was the Fortnite of the like 2013, 2014 era, right? And now it's gone back to this kind of
It's
game that
cool
people have
again.
grown up on and
Yeah.
look back on fondly, and so now it's yeah, it's matured. I mean, obviously there's still a lot of kids playing the game. It's a game that mostly appeals to young kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the community behind it, the people making content, I think has definitely matured. And there's
Yeah.
way less of that kind of childish drama now. It still happens. It's bound to, but
Well,
it's
that
definitely
was,
better.
I think, a lot, especially in the modding community, and I can't really speak to it as a modder, but as just a viewer, like, I think that there's been a lot of standards set for better, for worse, like, things you can't do, licenses, stuff like that are respected a little more. Back then, it felt like a Wild West where, like, anybody was just doing anything.
Right.
People were just like, fuck you, I'm just gonna take this and blah, like that was what the Tekkit thing was, and it just, it seemed like crazy, and it just seems like there's a little more respect and a little more structure, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the rules have been made clear. You could
Mm-hmm.
argue that when the whole Tekkit thing happened, they might have been ignorant of it. I don't know that they were, but it's like that definitely set the precedent. That's like, okay,
Right.
we need to take this seriously, or else people are gonna throw a fit, or and not just because people would react to it, but also because what they wanted. You put a license on something because that's what you want your thing to be treated as. That's the
Mm-hmm.
rules for your project, so it should be respected. I've
Yeah.
always felt that way. I remember. I think that's kind of why FTB got popular. Really, I think everybody agrees is that because they decided to follow all the rules, do things right, and so they really appealed to mod devs. So that collaborative effort made them really
Yeah,
popular.
I definitely think that's what differentiated them in the beginning.
Hmm.
Um, so what do other than Forge? I mean, what do you do outside of that? Do you play any other games? What do you do?
Uh, I mean, I play games. Yeah, I stream from time to time. Tend to go in bursts. I try and keep a semi-regular schedule. I try and do like at least once a week, but
Mm-hmm.
it ends up being more like 4 times one week and then 0 times next week because it comes and goes, and I have busier times and less
Yeah.
busy times.
Oh, you're a Rocket
Games I
League
want to
guy,
play.
right?
I used to play that a lot. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't so much anymore. But yeah, I got pretty good at that at one
Yeah,
point.
everybody. I mean, I think everybody had that phase. Like
Yeah,
Rocket League is one of those games that you just like you absorb yourself into if you really like it.
yeah, yeah. When it came out for like a year, that was
Yeah,
like my main just like go to. Like, I sit down, I have 30 minutes. I'll just jump in that.
it's perfect. It's perfect for that. It's a good podcast
It really
game
is.
too. Like
Yeah.
you just listen to podcasts and just veg out. I mean, that was the only reason I'm asking. I'm out of questions because you're really good at answering ones that I was going to ask in your other answers.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. Well, I mean, okay, so I do actually have another one in regards to Forge. Like
Okay.
dealing with that big of a hulking code base, having some more of a structure because it runs a little bit more like a business. Is it harder to get things done? Is it more like a glacial flow of getting things pushed, or do you have like sort of parity with like Lex and everything like that?
Definitely, I have to feel like I have to pump the brakes sometimes because I'm used to working mostly with full autonomy. With
Mm-hmm.
like EnderIO, I was never the lead dev. It's still, well, it was Crazy Pants, but he's not around so much anymore. It's more Henry now.
Uh-huh.
There was a brief portion where I guess I would you consider, but it was always been a collective of us working on it. I mean, it's a public domain project, so
Yeah.
it was always kind of checking with other people, making sure it's good. Chisel, I could just kind of do whatever I wanted because Drokus was the art guy, so I was doing the rendering stuff. That was
Mhm.
just me. But with Forge, yeah, you got to make sure. You got to do a lot more diligence. I find myself like can't just push something that's broken because instantly people are going to start using it and trying it, and if it's broken, then that could be really bad. Though
Right.
luckily, I do most of my work on the client side stuff, so can't like ruin worlds or anything. That's good.
All right. Well, there's a plus.
But
No
yeah, no,
pressure.
I see what you mean. Forge is not. I wouldn't say it's totally like a business, but it
Uh-huh.
definitely does run slower. I mean, there's a lot more moving parts. Lex is doing a lot of the stuff in the back end now. He's been working on the MCP update for 114
Yeah.
and not really touching Forge at all. Like all the many libraries and projects that build Forge up but aren't necessarily the public facing thing that all the modders use.
Mhm.
Takes a lot of work, and that's like where most of the work I feel like goes, and that's why he needs people like me and Mez and CPW, who obviously does quite a lot, to kind of hold the fort on a lot of the public facing things.
That's
So
a,
that
that's
kind
a
of
cool thing to have, man.
yeah, it is. It's
You sound
it's
exhausted.
I guess yeah, it is a little tiring, to be on something like that. I feel like lately I've been kind of distracted from it, but
Mm-hmm.
I was getting back into it actually just now. I did something right before this.
I pulled you
But
away. I ruined it. I'm sorry,
no, you
everyone.
didn't. You didn't. I was done. It's okay.
Okay, cool. You said you're a night person, so you do all your stuff at night. You say you usually.
I tend to be a night owl. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm usually up till like 2 or 3.
Oh my god. That's like. Was
Yeah,
that?
but
Do you learn that in college? Because I've learned that in college.
yeah,
Yeah.
I made I was fortunate enough to never really have super early classes. I managed to kind of finagle my schedule
Mm,
to always be
those are the
like
best.
after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is since it was consistently late, it ended up just being my early mornings.
Right.
So it
That
wasn't really
became
any
when you
better.
wake up. Right. It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm the same
But no,
way.
I've always kind of been a late person. So, and the fact that I mostly work from home right now means that I can do that.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is with like, I mean, not so much for you, because you're U.S. based, but a lot of people in the modding community have to like mess with their sleep schedules just to like stay up to talk to people. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because they're like, a lot of people are international, so like just being able to talk to some people is like, oh, I got to stay up till like 2 in the morning just to catch these people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We're lucky that the whole Chisel team is in the
mhm.
continental U.S., so we're mostly on the same wavelength. But working on EnderIO, we got Crazy Pants and Epic Squid who are in Australia. We got Henry
Oh my
and
gosh.
Jodu who are in Germany, and me who's in America. So we're complete. It's good because it means usually one of us is awake at some point. But it's
Hmm.
like I'll be like, oh, I got something for Squid. I'll just tell it to him now. Oh, wait, it's noon. He's asleep.
Exactly.
I gotta
Yeah.
wait till tomorrow to see him. Yeah.
It's a
I know
miracle anything gets
Wild.
done.
I know Wild pretty well, and I know he keeps crazy hours because he streams from Australia and has to appeal to the American audience. So he gets
Oh
up
my
at like
gosh.
3 in the morning to start. But
I'm
his schedule's
hoping
all
to
out of
have him
whack.
on in the next couple of weeks, and yeah, I want to ask him about that. That
That'd be
is
cool.
like that seems like like a crazy schedule to have.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on. That was a solid 20 minutes. Yeah, wow, 20 minutes at this point. So thank you. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
Do you have
No
anything
problem.
to say?
Thanks for having me.
Do you have a Patreon?
I do not.
Oh, what? Get
I
on
know.
that. Why do you not have a Patreon?
I've considered it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about asking for money, but I do have a Twitch and I am an affiliate. So if you come by the stream
Okay.
and you like my stream, don't just like dump money on me because you feel like I need a donation, but you've watched and you think I deserve a sub or something. That's fine.
There we go. All right, there's the plug. I need a link to put up on screen right now, and you just provided it for me, so thank you.
Hmm.
Have a great day, dude. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.